Peace, love, and power, City Beautiful. I'm Jed Nico, your friendly neighborhood Filipino. You're now tuned in to the Blacklist Society podcast. My mission is to connect, encourage, and empower the community by showcasing some of our artists, musicians, and local entrepreneurs. I hope that the show inspires you to start to invest in your own creative outlet. That way you can start to find your voice and speak your truth. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just want to speak a word of affirmation over all of you. It's the same thing I tell my daughters every day I see them, and it's that you can do anything. Nothing is off the table for you. There's no limits. There's no boundaries. It's all illusions. And I've been meditating on this quote that I'll give to everybody. It's by Benjamin Disraeli. He says, "Nothing can resist the human will that will stake even its existence on its stated purpose." You know how strong the human will is? It built the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, music, art. So that being said, now that you know you could do anything, make sure you do the right thing. Make sure you leave an impact. Leave this place better than when you first came. Enjoy today's episode. So we have Miss Simba in the building on the Blacklist Society podcast.
How y'all doing? What's
I'm
up,
blessed.
family?
How are you?
I am here. I'm running. I'm excited. I'm grinding. I'm working hard for that little one over there.
We see it.
You know the vibes. It's crazy.
Shout her out. Shout her out.
Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to Maya. Gang Castaño.
Early happy birthday to Maya.
Yes, early happy birthday.
By the time you watch this, she'll be 7, so make sure you show some love.
Yes, sir.
Miss Simba, if you could think of one word to describe how you're feeling today, what would it be?
I would say that I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed because there are people right now that are dying, that are not alive, that are, not able to be here with us. And I'm alive. I'm present. I have my health currently. So I'm excited.
And you've been busy.
Very busy.
You're all over the city.
All over the city. Always. Yes.
Well, before we dive into it, just to give the audience context, so I remember first meeting you and seeing you on the mic at Dandelions. Shout out to Sean Welcome, Diverse Word. It was Tuesday night, and that's when we saw you on the mic, and you were just very passionate, and it was like you could definitely feel it in the atmosphere. So if anybody hasn't seen Simba rock the mic, I hope that you get the chance to. But give us the genesis story. Where'd you come from? How'd you find the mic? When'd you start expressing your truth?
Ooh, okay. We have time for all that? I'm just
We
joking.
have time for all that.
Okay, so I am 27 years old. I started
go.
doing poetry when I was 16. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I've been doing poetry since I was a youth. I have 2 leaders. One of them was shot and killed on Miami, North Miami. His name was Will, the real one. He trained me in 2009.
Wow.
Rest in power. I say rest in power on
rest in
purpose.
paradise.
But he trained me, and I have another leader named Ray Dominguez that is still alive. He trained me as well with Right Side Poets, and we would facilitate workshops in schools, jails, art institutes, and we do a lot of things like that. And I was the kid in the back of the van, like being driven around, going out here doing these workshops, going out and performing. And I was like, you know what? When I get older, like if it's in God's will, I want to be able to be that one to keep that alive, like still do that, for these other young kings and queens out in the city. So when I moved to Virginia for a little bit back when I was with my ex, he was in the military. I joined another organization called Teens with a Purpose, and I performed and competed with them. I competed in a couple different international poetry competitions called Brave New Voices in California, in LA, and things like that, and fell in love with community efforts and performing and competing. And so when I moved here in 2013, right around the time I had my daughter, I started doing a pilot program. It wasn't my nonprofit yet. Okay. It was called Speak Out, and it was basically at the Coalition for the Homeless before the soccer stadium was built. And I facilitated workshops every Wednesday on the men's side and then the women and children's side. Wow. And I used to do poetry with these grown men and women for like 2 years straight. We published a book of their poetry called Pain in God. It's available on Amazon. And when I saw that we were able to be successful with that, I was like, it's time to start my nonprofit. So I started Exodus United, which is my nonprofit organization. We work with youth in Central Florida. We facilitate arts and education programs, and we do poetry, we do art, we do hip hop, we do theater. And basically, I started doing that, and I still wanted to work with homeless people, though. I was like, I wonder if there's a such thing as like homeless teenagers. So I did research, and I found Covenant House. Covenant House is a homeless youth shelter in Orlando, and I started facilitating poetry program there, and branched out to like JDC, Boys and Girls Club, Paramore Kids Zone. So literally, I'm an 8th grade language arts teacher. I work for OCPS. I've been teaching for about 3-4 years now, 8th grade, and literally
awesome.
I'll work, thank you, from 8:30 to 4, and I'll get right off of work. Like I used to go every Wednesday right off of work, hurry up, grab some sushi, because I love sushi right around here.
Yes.
I would grab that real quick, grab some coffee, and then I would go first to Paramore Kids Zone, do a little workshop, then boom, head over to Covenant House and do another workshop, and be back to back. And since then, we started out only doing the poetry program, but then we branched out to additional arts and education programs. We started doing art camps. We started doing, youth rap battles. We started doing a theater program. Last year, we put on an entire play, a production at the Temuka Arts Foundation. So my goal is difficult because I'm like trying to be superwoman out here, and I work a full-time job. I'm a mother, and I'm trying to just do it. So I be like grinding in the meantime, between time at work, trying to run a whole 501c3 while doing everything. But
still getting freestyles in.
Gosh,
still getting the freestyles on IG Live,
yes,
man.
Sir.
On your breaks.
I'm fired because I'm a queen, and you already know I reign supreme. But I come through with that meme and shit. I'm just checking. Let me stop. I'm a poet by nature, but I do like to spit my thing on the.
That's when you shine.
Yes, sir.
That's when you shine.
Free on it. Yeah. So.
Speaking of that, there was so much there, but speaking of that, your latest piece that I saw was at Dandelions after it closed down. Tell the audience a little bit about that piece. I believe it was it was something about the swan.
Lake Yola.
Yeah.
So that was a true story. I write, everybody when they write, you have to know your purpose. I am not here to entertain you. I'm here to educate and bring awareness and talk about real stuff. Like To the Young Queen on OBT is the main poem that I perform about a true story of a homeless youth girl I was working with that was being human trafficked on Orange Blossom Trail,
Yeah.
So I write a lot about that. I have an album out called War Cry for the Oppressed, and all 12 tracks are about social issues. But that poem in particular, I wrote it about a year ago. A true story. I was walking downtown Lake Yola, and it's very beautiful. You see swans, you see all these things, but I saw some guy laying in his throw up, right? And I'm like, yo, y'all gonna offer this man help or what?
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, oh, let me just take a video, go viral. It's like, bro, okay, now that you've done recording him, which I can't say anything because I do post a lot of stuff. However, it's like this person is trauma. You're publicizing, they're experiencing trauma.
Yeah.
You're not even offering him help. That's someone's son laying in their throw up. And, a lot of people have this sense of entitlement and pride. I say pride very specifically because people don't feel like other people need help. They're like, oh, well, they got themselves in a situation. So what? So are we not worthy of mercy and forgiveness?
Yeah.
Still offer him help, even if you think he put himself in that position. Everybody is worthy of forgiveness and mercy. Reach out and be like, yo, you need anything? Because that could be you, you never know what situations will occur. So I wrote that poem about this guy, and apparently the police came, and he was doing K2 or whatever. So, he was he had his stuff,
tripping.
Yeah, laced and all that. I don't know. But the point is that it was I know someone back in Fort Lauderdale that his something with some drugs that he was doing, it was laced and everything, and he died.
Wow.
And it's the whole point of the poem is not to call anyone out or whatever for doing drugs, but it's yo, you never know, so you might as well, be cautious and kind of avoid doing that, because this man, he was getting into some things, and obviously he did that, and then he's laying in the, looking, humiliating himself on the floor and everything, and it's just reaching out to be compassionate for others and just be merciful for others. So yeah, it's that's what the poem was about. I decided to do it there because Orlando, Lake Yola, it's that's a big trademark here in Orlando, so I figured it'd be an appropriate poem about the city. So yeah, I really, this is a beautiful city. There's a lot of beautiful things other than just Disney. I feel like people don't realize that But there's also a lot of stuff that goes on that like people know, but they don't want to talk about, and they want to sweep it under the rug. Like, just because you don't decide to talk about it and acknowledge it doesn't mean it goes away. You know, people find it's true statement, even though it's a cliche that ignorance is bliss. Like, it is a true statement. People would rather ignore things, you know, because they want to live comfortable and they don't want to have to confront that and deal with it. It's like, nah, this is really going on, whether you acknowledge it or not.
Yeah.
My next question is, like, when you see something, will you hold yourself accountable? You know, like, what are you gonna do? You know, it's like they want to pretend they didn't see it and be like, oh well, you know, let someone else deal with it. If everyone had that mentality, then there would be no change. Someone has to be the one to be like, no, I'm putting my foot down. Like, we need to do something about that. So that's kind of where I come in. And sometimes I do get burnt out because I be trying to do too much when I need to sit down somewhere. But I'm just like, I wake up sometimes like crying and just feel. I'm a very compassionate. I'm a empath. Like, I feel deeply about things, and I cannot ignore it. I'm like, no, like we need to do something. So that's just kind of where I try to use my art form, you know, whether it's poetry and, you know, rap, and I try to encourage the young kings and queens, and I call them young kings and queens because I want to empower them. But like, use your passion for something like on fire. Like, yeah, be dope and have your swag, like songs and, you know, da da da.
But make an impact.
But like, yeah, like, and not only that, but don't just talk about it, be about it. Like, anybody could make a song, spit a 16, do a poem, cry. It's not about so much about what you do and perform in the limelight, that it is what you do outside of your poems and raps that gives that life.
100%.
Like, you talking about being a revolutionary, but you go home and then you just watch TV or you just go to a party. Like, what are you doing, bruh? That's revolutionary. Because at the end of the day, like, are you a credible messenger? Like, I don't know if I can believe you right now. You know, you just talking and it sounds good, but it's a whole bunch of rhetoric. You just spitting out things that's like, but you're not living by it. So, you know,
there's no weight. There's no weight behind it. And you can feel it too.
You can feel it. And that's why for me, like, when I'm talking to you about this, like this girl being human trafficked, like, she was in my car and I had to report it. And it was a very difficult situation because I'm trying to, you know, have her confidentiality and maintain that rapport with her and be good. But at the same time, I'm trying to also get her the help for her safety. And like, and it was just a crazy situation. Especially being that the other youth that was like involved in a situation, I was also, you know, working with. So sometimes you're put into predicaments that challenges you, and you have to figure out how you can rise above. So that's my life on a daily. So
I mean, that's very inspiring. What happened with the story with the young woman on Orange Blossom Trail? Like, what was the outcome?
Well, I don't currently speak to her at the moment. You know, since that time era, they did reach out to her. They did follow up. I did ask them at the time, you know, what transpired with her. They can't give out confidential information, but I think like her case manager tried to reach out to her and redirect her. You know, I'm not too sure as far as what she's doing now.
Yeah.
But I had to report it, and at that point, I was no longer able to be in communication or contact with her because I never had her phone number or anything. You know, she was just staying at the shelter. She didn't really have a phone, so it was one of those things, you know. And there's a lot of more politics, I would like to say, because a lot of times what I found with a lot of these institutions, not people, the institutions, is that sometimes when you try to help others, somehow you get blamed for things, or they try to question you. Why were you here at this? Yo, I'm literally like trying to help this person. I'm calling you for help, and you're like, well, why were you there at this? What, like, you should be lucky that like I was put in that position at that time so I could like help, you know, like stop before something else. But I've experienced that as well, and it gets discouraging sometimes because the politics of a lot of institutions are that I feel like they don't really value those, especially that are providing free services. Like, I wonder how many people that you pay, if you stop giving them a paycheck, will they still show up?
Right.
Because they're being paid to be here. I'm not. If anything, I'm paying gas. I'm providing resources,
time,
supplies,
energy.
you know what I mean? Like, giving them opportunities, like, I'm paying. So, you know, it's like that's something that you run into, but you have to just, you know, stay on it and stuff like that. So now I don't do so many programs inside like institutions themselves, I kind of try to do the programs to where I promote out to the community and then try to get them to kind of come to me at a central location, but it's a little bit more difficult, but it's also challenging trying to have that freedom to do everything you want to do and stuff like that, when you have HR and all these people at these places that are so strict on so many regulations and one thing, and then they just blaming you or whatever. So I mean, it comes with the territory, but those are some things that I've encountered throughout my years of doing workshops at these facilities. But yeah. So
do you do any more community outreach style?
So what do you mean, going to shelters still?
Yeah, community outreach, or has it changed since pandemic, with things being shut down?
Well, we have a group of about 10-12 youth that we currently work with.
Come on now.
And I love them. They're like my family in a way, because I don't have a brother, sister. I don't have a dad. I just have my mom in Fort Lauderdale and my daughter, and that's it. So they're like my family. They think I help them, but they help me. And
it goes both ways.
Yes, and especially everything I've been going through in the past couple of years. But we decided to take everything online and digital, when the pandemic started. In the beginning, I started hosting youth rap battles and poetry slams online, and we were actually able to reach other youth from other cities and states, because I was like, I'm gonna get people from Chicago, New York.
Oh, so you
LA.
Organized other states?
Yeah, we were doing some competitions online.
That's
but
lit.
then we started doing some workshops on Zoom.
Yeah.
And we did that, and then I was like, I miss y'all. How many of y'all really care about this? Just come on, bring a mask. We'll sit a little far. And then they just started kind of coming over. And we actually just had all of them over my apartment last Saturday, about 10 of them. And they were doing a creative working session where they were, writing poems, drawing, stuff like that. But something exciting that we have, and I know I'm talking a lot.
Please, that's why you're here.
Yeah, we've been almost every Saturday, down there with Peaceful Orlando, and we've been marching with them, protesting with them, performing poems on the topic of police brutality. We were on a Zoom call a few weeks ago with the new recruits of the Orlando Police Department. We were asked, and they're doing something in an effort with Buddy Dyer, and we're actually going to be on another Zoom call with the Orlando Police Department tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's going to be live streamed through the Orlando Police Department Facebook and Instagram. And our youth were given an opportunity to recite a poem about that, as well as ask 3 questions that pertain to traffic stops and police interactions. And then on Saturday,
how many kids get to ask the questions?
It's going to be 1. So we had to prepare 3 questions. So I had asked them as a collective to come up with 3 questions.
Are you able to talk about what they are?
Or
are you going to want to wait till it drops?
Yeah, we'll wait a little bit. But it's definitely related to the color of their skin and being fearful, things like that, and it's interesting because I work at Walker Middle School and this Title I school, and this kid yesterday was just talking to me. He's like, hey miss, I gotta tell you about this encounter I had. The police were doing a truancy sweep, and I never been more scared in my life. He was like, all I kept saying to him when he was asking me if I was going to school was are you gonna shoot me? Are you gonna shoot me? And it just tells you the fact that they're just so fearful. So what we're trying to get to communicate to the police is you don't have to always come into our neighborhoods or our city and feel like you only have to come there to police people. Also come in here to build that rapport, to build those relationships, to build that community and just get to know people on a regular basis. Because what happens is psychologically, you going into these communities and these neighborhoods and they're automatically fearful. And then there's this dynamic don't shoot, and then the officer is scared of the guy or the woman, and the woman is scared of the officer. So it's all this fear, and it's but if we can, and I mean, I'm not an expert to speak per se on this topic, but since we've been tasked with this great opportunity to be able to be on the scene with this, it's we just want to teach them that they have to try to just build more community efforts with us so we can just, build stronger relationships. So
How'd you get that opportunity to let the young woman speak with the police department? You said they reached out, or how'd that even happen?
Yeah, well, I was actually hosting a youth rap battle a month or so ago at Studio 18. There was a woman that was there. Don't know how she heard about the event. And she's like, hey, I work for the mayor, and I love what you guys are doing, and I want you guys to be on this Zoom call. And then the Zoom call went well. And then she's like, yeah, then after that, the deputy reached out to me and was like, we want to put you on the next, like, the panel officially, like your youth. And I was like, yeah, that's dope, because, you know, this is what we're making noise about. Like, this,
you never know who's in the room, though. That's what I've learned about the mic too. You know, when you go to do something at the mic, you never know who's in the room.
I always tell my youth, and I have to remind myself this as well, sometimes we're tired, we don't feel like doing it, we're not even feeling the poem, right? And you're like, I don't want to perform today. But it's like, yo, who are you to deny someone else? You don't know who needs to hear that.
100%.
Who's going to receive that message? Who's going to be inspired? Who might stop from killing themselves that night? Who might, you know, cry? Who might relate? You might give hope? What opportunities, what doors, you know, you might be offered a job or offered something. So me, I always push myself, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I'm like, I don't feel like performing right now, you know? But it's like, I got to do it. I just got to do it. So
you feel like it's like a calling for you?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, I would say so. I mean, especially being like the content that I do and like the topic of it type of thing. Yeah, I would say for sure that it is. So.
Do you think that like organizing the community and speaking into the youth is also part of your calling as much as you speaking your truth? Because I noticed that you have a big heart for the community and for the youth.
Yeah, I was.
Is that just something you like to do, or is it something that you feel mandated to? Like,
I do feel like it is my purpose. My mom, she worked in Miami in the pork and beans neighborhood for like 20, 30 years in Miami. And she, you know, she's the one that kind of like was the one that exposed me to that, because I used to go with her and I used to see kids like jump house to house, you know, like share underwear, not really have anywhere to go, and
struggle.
Yeah, and so that really made me fall in love with wanting to like help kids and stuff like that.
How old were you when you kind of started to feel that?
I would say about like 13.
13? That's young.
So I've always kind of felt that for like a long time. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that really attracted me to your energy and to your movement, because you were so focused on the kids. Like before I did college, we did outreach in Ivy Lane housing projects. So we would teach them dance classes, Bible verses. We go to the coalition as well. And
really?
there's something when you're out there giving back to the community, like it opens up your eyes to the major issues and to things that actually really matter. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Exodus United, Exodus means a way out, a departure.
Come on,
and
that's
United
so powerful.
means United means together. So Exodus United, a way out together through the arts.
I felt that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. And
how old is Exodus United?
It's since 2015.
So 5 years strong.
Yeah. So it's been a 501c3 for a minute. We are looking for donations, guys.
Come on, where can people donate?
Listen, Cash App Simba the Poet. Cash App Simba the Poet. But we have PayPal, you know, and that's the fastest way, because right now that's the fastest way.
It's
just
awesome.
Cash App Simba the Poet, just straight up. Like, I'm picking them up 2-3 hours at a time, gas money, tolls, the food, like
hustling.
So so it's really just but you know, we are currently rebuilding our website, and we're gonna have like everything set back up as far as PayPal and things of that nature. But that's the fastest way currently. Of course, you could write a check, cash, you know, but we're living 2020 now. Everybody's doing Venmo, Cash App, things like that,
all the digitals,
you know, of course. So that's what it is.
I've had the pleasure to hear some of your kids perform on multiple occasions, most recently at Studio 18, and I told somebody this the other day. The things that the kids have on their mind blows me away. Like, they're very well articulate as well. I know all teenagers and young adults aren't that articulate. So to see your kids be able to speak their mind and their truth in such a beautiful way.
Yes.
I remember there was a young lady, I think she was one of your students, Gabby Salam.
Oh,
and like
shout out to Gabby.
when she jumped on the mic,
yes,
like
sir.
I kind of get chills thinking about it too, because when you speak truth, it changes the atmosphere. You know, it's not just the words, it's the actual vibe. And you could tell like she was just bearing her heart out there.
Yeah, they feel, you know, they all have their own story and they all go through so much. And man, you don't even understand. I'm like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but they all go through a lot. And yeah, they use that because, you know, poetry and all that is therapy. Like, it is very therapeutic. Like, when you go to a therapist, you sit down and they ask you, you know, like, tell your story and tell how it makes you feel. And that's what poetry does. It asks you to tell your story and how it makes you feel behind the mic. And, you know, we get opportunity to get in a therapy session every time. So, you know, I'm like, this is your therapy. Like,
yeah,
it's
100%.
not gonna unhurt anyone or, you know, do anything like that. Like, when you spit a poem, it's not going to bring someone back from the dead or unrape them or do anything, but it's gonna help hopefully prevent or inspire someone else to, you know, to make changes.
So when you're teaching the kids how to write poetry, what's that process like? Like, how do you teach them the skill and like the flow behind it?
Okay. Well, I have unique workshops like prepared for each group. But I usually, I'm trying to say it without giving away the whole workshop.
Because it's one thing to be able to tell a story,
right?
But it's another thing to be able to express it in a poem.
Yeah.
And they do it so well. So I'm like, what are you doing with these kids?
It's hard to say in 2 minutes, but like, there's definitely different methods and different ways and different types of workshops that I prepare. But I feel like the first thing that I do is I really just try to, you know, get on their level and like just build with them and make them feel comfortable. Because like, if they don't feel comfortable with you, they're not going to open up, they're not going to talk. So I kind of share with them and I try to do things like that. So
why do you feel like it's I mean, I feel this way, but why do you think it's so hard for kids to feel comfortable in speaking their truth in like their groups of friends versus in a poem and at an open mic?
Why just to clarify, you're saying why is it important to speak like?
No, why is it difficult for the youth to express their truth socially, like between friends, as opposed to like in a poem? Like, you know, some people can't speak their truth in front of family, you know?
In a poem, they're able to kind of disguise or mask themselves. Like, it's almost like you could get away with talking in third person. Like, you don't have to be yourself. You just go really quick and get off the mic. When you talk in a group setting amongst your peers and family and friends, like, it becomes real. It's like, this is me. All of a sudden, you're in, like, one of those like rehab circles. It's like, hi, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic. Like, hi, my name is, and I deal with depression. You know, it's like, I don't really want to confront that demon right now. In a way, it's like, I just want to spit this poem real quick and get the freak off the mic. So I think that it's a mask or a disguise or a way for people to kind of hide in that. It just becomes more authentic and more real, like when you have to confront it and it, you know, and talk about it like really right there. And then it's like, oh, are you okay? Like, oh, now you're depressed, so something must be wrong with you. I think people fear a lot of times what other people think, and myself included sometimes. It's like, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to think less of me? Or is this going to like, you know, mess up my credibility? So I think those are a lot of factors like that.
What's it like for you to see these kids, these young adults grow up and touch the mic and just go for it?
It's dope. Like, I'm like, man, you know, that was me when I was their age. So I'm like, that was me. But I see the progression. I see the years. I see all the growth. And I just feel proud. You know, I feel proud. Not like I'm their mom or anything, because obviously I'm not old enough to be their mom. But, you know, I feel proud.
But like a spiritual mom. Like, that's what you're doing out here. You're raising the youth straight up.
Yeah.
You should be proud. I'm proud for watching it.
Thank you.
Even it's only been 2 years. I'm proud to see it. What's going on for the rest of 2020? What's the vision? Where can people see you perform? Are the kids perform?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the agenda.
Well, the goal, I say the goal because I don't want to overpromise, underdeliver. The goal is to roll back and launch back our Exodus Unscripted theater program in November. But I started a monthly open mic, and so we're going to have the next monthly open mic on October 30th at Studio 18.
Shout outs to Studio 18,
yes,
Connor, the whole team.
Yes, and then next Friday we're having a cipher, a positive all ages cipher at DJ Beck Hip Hop Dance Studio.
Come on.
So we're gonna have
that's on DJ. John Young, right?
It's like McLeod Road.
LB McLeod.
Yeah, McLeod. I said it wrong. McLeod, tomato. You know what it is. So
yes, man.
It's a dope hip hop studio.
Is that gonna be monthly too?
No, quarterly. And so the goal is to basically just have like an organized cipher. So it's like everyone kind of gets together in ciphers, so we have a DJ. We're with working with SB and the Anomaly. And
nice.
Yeah. So we kind of just like have a DJ and we just kind of like spit poems, spit rap, break dance. Someone could break dance while someone's spitting, do all the above. So this is like an organized cipher. It's not really too much structure. It's not supposed to be something where it's like an open mic and you sign up and do all that stuff. It's just more of like that, like
more flow,
like more flow and stuff. So that's the goal, like an organized cipher. That's really what it is. So that's on October 16th. October 30th is the open mic. And yeah, I have other things that I'm posting.
Tell them about the merch.
Yes, we do have some new merch rolling out, and we are gonna be experimenting soon with some sweatshirts and hoodies because it is gonna be getting cold.
Yes, the hats that you had at Studio 18?
Yes, sir. We have snapbacks, we have dad caps, we have all the above. And you should buy it because it's dope, it's fire, and it goes for a good cause.
Absolutely.
So we do sell our hats for $30. I know it's a lot. They're embroidered, but the proceeds goes back to the youth. It's for a good cause. But we're going to be selling merch. We're trying to sell it more online. I'm actually working with a girl right now to see if, I can hire her for commission-based to sell it online and everything so we can reach a larger demographic and audience because obviously I don't got the time. So, we just trying to do it. And I'm looking for a grant writer. I'm not even going to lie because we're a 501c3. There is no reason we should not be receiving grants. And
yes, 100%.
Like I said before, guys,
100%.
I am working hard. I'm a teacher and mother. Like, I don't have the time. So I just need more, I'm looking for 2021 to expand more on the business standpoint, like get a stronger team on the board of directors and really help bring this up not only as a nonprofit organization but as a business because it's definitely important to operate the organization also from a business standpoint.
100%.
And I don't want to retire in the school system. I want to be able to just hopefully God willing be the executive director of Exodus, but only time will tell, one day at a time. But I have big dreams.
What about for the music? I've noticed you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Can we expect anything in 2020 to hit?
Yeah, for sure. I've been releasing tracks. I have an entire album out called War Cry for the Oppressed. Download it on all streaming platforms. Simba Castaño.
Don't sleep. Get it now.
Yes. I've been, recording some tracks as well underneath the name Simba X for Exodus.
Is that where they can find you? Like if they're looking on Spotify?
Yeah, so you can type in Simba and then last name Castaño and you can find my album. But most recently, I've been releasing tracks under Simba X.
Gotcha.
And I do have a Linktree link in my profile of my Instagram bio. So if you guys follow me, Simba 93, you can follow me and find that. Don't be mad if I don't follow you back. I think I need to unfollow people on my Instagram.
Sometimes you do.
Well, it's not letting me follow people. Like I hit follow and I refresh it doesn't let me follow because I think
maybe it's a sign.
I follow too many people, so it's like the Instagram doesn't let me. They're like, bro, you didn't follow me back. I'm like, I promise, it's not personal. I keep trying to hit follow. I refresh it and it won't follow you, but I will support you like any way that I can share. I always share. People hit me up like I'm the plug. Like, yo, where's the event at tonight? It's like I keep sharing people's flyers because, we all want other people to share our stuff.
Yeah.
So it's important to support. Like, you can't expect to receive so much support if you don't give support.
Yeah. But what I like about you too is I know that you use discernment on who you're going to support because you have influence out here. I know that you use that wisely.
I try to just trying to do my thing. So that's me. I'm gonna be releasing some tracks as well. And it's a good therapy for me. Like I said, to be transparent. These past 2 years or a year and a half has been the most challenging of my life, personally
100%.
and emotionally. So I'm just trying to stay focused and work harder and pour my energy and my efforts into all the endeavors that I have. But I'm excited about a lot of things, and just reach out to me. I'd love to.
Any advice for the audience who's feeling that same way, that it's been the most difficult year, they need a little bit of help and keep going?
Yeah.
Like, what's your advice to the people struggling out there right now?
I deal with anxiety really bad, and sometimes I feel like I just want to like stop everything, like unplug and be like, be normal. Like, just go home, watch TV, get up, go to work. It's like, no, you were meant to do so much more. And it's like, just keep doing it. Like, just, if you don't feel like getting up out of bed, just start with taking a shower and then brush your teeth, and then like little tasks. Like, people don't want to even get up out of their bed in the morning. Like, they just feel like they can't even like handle the weight of the day. And I'm like, just start with brushing your teeth.
Momentum.
Okay, boom. I just finished that little, that little obstacle. And then I'm going to take a shower. Okay, now I'm going to get in my car. And now I'm going to, like, we become very overwhelmed and very stressed by all the tasks and obligations and the pressure of society and the weight that we are held. But it's just start with doing one thing. And then when you've accomplished that one little, even the most minute thing as brushing your teeth, like, just do that little thing and then go to the next and go to the next. And the next thing you know, you did the whole day. Like, literally yesterday, after I worked all day, I had to go clean an apartment because I clean houses and do massages on the side because my rent is almost $1,400 by myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't know how I'm doing it. And it's really hard. And I'm like, I don't want to clean this apartment right now. Like, I don't. And it's like, just do it. Just get up, get in your car. And then I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And now I'm back in my bed and I'm able to rest. So it's like, it's mind over matter. And like, I get it. Cause like, like, aside from like, Exodus and all that, to be transparent. And I say this openly because other people are going through it. Like, I've been going through a divorce, and it's difficult because you don't realize how much, like, you take it for advantage. Like, when you're living with someone else, a roommate, a partner, or someone, and they help to all the bills, and now it's all on you. And it's like, and if it affects everything that you do, your work, your efforts, like with the nonprofit, like all of that feels impacted because of the pressure of like, where am I going to get my next meal and stuff like that? Because it's that real. Even though I have a full blown career, it's like, just keep going, and hopefully, God willing, like, he'll open a door to where like you won't have to work as much, and he'll provide and stuff like that. But anyways, like I said, the main thing is just don't allow it to just pour into you and you just bury yourself into this ditch. Like, just get up and do the small task. You accomplish the small task, then move to the next. A lot of short-term goals lead to the long-term goals. So don't give up because you think it's too overwhelming. Break it down into digestible bites. Just like when you eat food, you don't swallow a whole bowl of Chipotle. You just take one spoonful at a time.
Some people swallow that bowl.
Probably. But that's what I'm saying, It's like I tell my students, like, miss, I can't even. I got an F. Like, I'm not going to get to an A. Like, I got like 30 missing. I'm like, listen, open a Google Doc, make a to-do list, do one at a time. Boom, done with that. Boom, done with that. Like, you have to, you have to write down what you need to do and just start tackling it one at a time, and celebrate accomplishments and celebrate small successes, because a lot of people put a lot of like, like pressure on themselves, and then they're like, oh, I didn't really get anywhere because I didn't get to the big goal. It's like, bro, but you just, the kid, he got from an F to a D. He's like, I'm still failing. No, but you went up a letter grade. Yeah. And like, now let's go up another letter grade. And then you're like, oh my God, how the heck did I go from 0 to 100? Like, it wasn't like real quick, but it was gradual, but like, celebrate that. So, and that's something, again, everything that I say to other people, I say we need to, because I also feel like, when I try to speak humbly, like, I need to take that advice as well. Yeah. So I try to tell myself, because I'm hard on myself too. I'm like, man, I wanted to be here. All the time I kick myself in the butt. Like, why don't we have grants yet? It's like, I could just sit down and write one, but then I don't have to give myself credit. It's like, yeah, but you did this and you did that, and it's coming, and you work a lot, and you do. So I have to like tell myself that as well. So
celebrate the wins.
That's my whole long spiel, because you already know I could talk forever.
We love it. Any shout outs to your audience, to your students? Any final words that you want to give out to the audience?
Shout out to the youth. Shout out to Exodus. shout out to you, of course. Like, you know, we would not be here without you. Like, Blacklist Society, like, it's dope. Like, shout out, you know. I could name so many names. Studio 18. I mean, the names are endless, but
where can people find you on the social media?
Yes,
Where's the best way to interact?
Simba 93, and my nonprofit organization is called Exodus United INC on Instagram. Reach out, DM me, I will respond, and it's a pleasure being on here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Before we go, last question: when it's all said and done, and your book is closed, what's the impact you want to leave?
Oof, such a loaded question. Well, the impact that I want to leave, man. It's such a hard question. How do I answer this? I just want people to know that, like, anything, this is going to sound cliche because I need to really sit down and meditate in this answer, but
go for it.
Just, like, anything is possible. I feel like that's not really what I want to say. That's not, but
you know, it's funny though, but I could see it on your face though. You believe that.
Yeah, like,
I love that.
You know, the people in the history books, like, they bleed the same blood as us. Like, why can't you be a Martin Luther King? Why? You bleed the same blood as them? Like, no. People have more access to more resources and know more people, but, like, if you work hard and you got that grind, that work ethic, and that determination, like, you're gonna attract that. So I'm just like, I'm trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
Come on, let's go. So aim high.
That's like, yeah. So, you know, I mean, yeah, like, it's possible. They bleed the same blood. So yeah, just go hard for what you believe in, and, like, don't let anybody tell you no. You know, if it's in your heart and in your gut, like, don't hold yourself back. Just do it. You know, just do it. Just go for it. Like, just go. Just do it.
They heard it here on the podcast.
Yes,
just
sir.
Go for it.
You know, the vibes is crazy.
We see you out here. We respect you. We thank you for what you're doing in the community. We hope that you continue. We speak, you know, affirmation, abundance, open opportunity, provision. And we hope that all of you out there, please dive into this woman's world. Support what she's doing. Support the youth.
Please.
Come see these youth perform in person. It's going to rock your world. And I hope that you all have a lovely week out there. Please come see me and Simba in person at these open mics, whether it's Studio 18, whether it's at the Rap Cypher. Come be with us. Come connect. We love y'all. We're sending peace, love, and power.
Yes.
Be safe. Be blessed. Be you.
Yes. Till next time.